Did you bring Thanksgiving with you this morning? And I'm not just talking about leftovers from Thursday, sandwiches piled high with turkey and cranberries and stuffing and anything else that you can put between two pieces of bread. Did you bring Thanksgiving with you? Did you bring prayers of adoration and gratitude to the living God? Did you prepare your hearts to enter into the ceremony of the Holy Eucharist, which is always named the Great Thanksgiving in our prayer book? Now think about that. Every single Sunday, we take part in the Great Thanksgiving, whether we are feeling thankful or not. Even if Clemson demolished USC 57-7, even if the UHD TV you wanted to buy at Best Buy was snatched up before you could get there, we're part of the Great Thanksgiving. And even if this year there was one less person present at the table and you sat there with a hole in your heart, well, today you pull up a chair and you're part of the Great Thanksgiving. And even if there wasn't a table full of family and friends but just you, standing in line, ordering the turkey and dressing special at the S&S cafeteria, I have done that before. Today you're part of the Great Thanksgiving. You can't get very far in the reading of Scripture before you get to praise and thanksgiving. Scripture is just soaked with it. It's a central tenet of our faith. More than once in the Hebrew Scripture, the people of Israel, and by extension, us, well, they're described, and I love this word, as a peculiar people. A peculiar people. A holy people. And part of what makes us so peculiar is our attitude of gratitude. Listen again to Psalm 100, which we just read, which is also a part of morning prayer. If you do morning prayer, every day you're reading Psalm 100. Be joyful in the Lord, all you lands. Serve the Lord with gladness and come before his presence with a song. Know this, the Lord himself is God. Now please understand, it's saying the Lord himself is God, not us. Sometimes we get confused about that. The Lord himself is God. He himself has made us and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, go into his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and call upon his name. That's a much more poetic way of saying, hey, thanks God, thanks. A while back, I really hit the wall as a clergy person. I hit the wall. I was tired beyond belief. Our staff shortage was larger than usual, and there had been just one too many deaths in my family. And at that time, the well wasn't just dry, it was non-existent. And that scared me. It scared me a lot. It scared me even more than the fear of being exposed that as a leader, especially as a spiritual leader, I was supposed to have it all together. It scared me so much that I had to let other people in. I had to let other people know. I hit the wall. So I did. I talked with our vestry and I talked with our bishop. I sent off an email to Bishop Ben Hayes outlining where I was, and my finger was still kind of hovering on that send button when the bishop called, checking on me. He listened, and then he began to outline a strategy of healing for me. It would take time, and frankly, I'm still on the mend. But he ended the conversation by saying, and don't forget to say thank you. Don't forget to say thank you. Don't forget gratitude. And I didn't. Despite everything I felt I was losing, I did not lose my sense of gratitude. I remember working very late one night in the church office with my dogs for company when I came across a song by the Christian group Big Daddy Weave. In part it sings, "I delight myself in you, captivated by your beauty, and I'm overwhelmed. God, I run into your arms unashamed because of mercy. I'm overwhelmed by you." And I was overwhelmed by gratitude. Nothing had changed. It was still 10 o'clock at night. The bulletin still needed to be finished. But there I was, singing and twirling around my desk with my corgis looking on, giving thanks, giving thanks. Now that happened not because I am some sort of super Christian. God knows I am not. It happened because thankfulness has been part of my spiritual discipline for longer than I can remember. Every morning I wake up and say thank you. First I have a cup of coffee, and then I say, and by the way, thanks a lot. I'm going to have another cup of coffee. Thankfulness has been part of my spiritual discipline. Writer Anne Lamott, who's the kind of Christian you can recognize by just how cracked and broken her nails are from just trying to hang on to life, well, she's one messed up, wonderful author who's taught me a lot about gratitude. In her book, Help, Thanks, Wow, she writes, "A lot of us religious types go around saying thank you to God when we find a good parking place, or locate the house keys with a wandering phone, or finally get a good night's sleep. And while that may be annoying to the people around us, it's important, because if we are lucky, gratitude becomes a habit. You say thank you when something scary has happened to your beloved and screwed up family, and you all came through, or most of you did. And you have found love in the intergenerational ruins, maybe a lot of love, or maybe just enough. Or you can look at what was revealed in the latest mess and you say thank you for the revelation, because it shows you some truth you needed to know, and that can be so rare in our families, let alone in our culture, our world, and in our marriages, and in our relationship with our teenagers, and in ourselves. You say thank you for lifting this corner of the curtain so I can see the truth. Maybe just for a moment, but in a way that might change my life forever. And that moment is astonishing. And at some point, we cast our eyes to the beautiful skies above all the crud we're wallowing in, and we whisper, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude begins in our hearts, and then it dovetails into behavior. So, my beloved, enter his gates with thanksgiving. Enter with all your baggage. Enter with all your grief. Enter with all your joy. And then you will find that you are really grateful. Enter into the great thanksgiving, and you'll find your voice in praise. And for that, I thank God. In Jesus' name.
Amen.